Is Koji Mori's continuation of Berserk still Berserk? As someone who started reading Berserk at the age of 11, yes, I know, the fuck is wrong with me reading it that young, but it profoundly changed my life for the better. Growing up, I faced many struggles and often felt close to giving up, but seeing Guts endure unimaginable hardships while clinging to the desire to live, learning to trust and love, gave me the strength to keep going. There's something truly special about Kentaro Miura's work that even as a kid, the core of Berserk resonated with me deeply. In this video, I want to explore whether Koji Mori's continuation of Berserk retains the essence that made Berserk so impactful to me. Understandably, reactions to Berserk continuing after Miura's passing have been divisive. Some fans feel that without Miura, it's no longer truly Berserk, and that's a valid perspective. We'll never fully experience Miura's complete vision, and that's tragic. However, I also respect the efforts of his closest friend, Koji Mori, and the team who work alongside Miura as they strive to present the story Miura had planned. And that's what this video is about. I want to delve into Koji's continuation of Berserk, 14 chapters. That's what we gotten so far. It may be early to judge Koji's directing, but from what we gotten so far, I can say I'm impressed. One critique I constantly remember seeing when we got the first couple of new Berserk chapters was people critiquing the lack of dialogue or monologue, saying, "This is one of the biggest moments in Berserk. Guts, Griffith, and Casca all together after decades of chapters. Yet, we didn't get any dialogue between them. Guts only saying Griffith's name and 2 or 3 words from Casca." Now, I don't have a problem with that, as it makes sense when you look at it, why there wouldn't be any dialogue. In this reunion between Guts, Griffith, and Casca, the only reason Guts had a conversation with Griffith in the past in the first place was because of Rickard. Here, no one stopped Guts, so it's natural that a fight ensues. Griffith, on the other hand, he has no reason to talk any further. He wanted to talk to Guts in the past to see if he's free. He already said everything he wanted to say. There was no need for more explanations. Casca didn't remember everything and is still dealing with her trauma. She wasn't in any position to have a conversation. What kind of dialogue were people expecting, and what kind of dialogue would have even worked here without it feeling forced? Miura himself once said in an interview that he used less dialogue in crucial moments, letting his art carry the weight of the scene. We've seen this approach in earlier volumes as well, and I believe it works here as well. The absence of dialogue heightens the tension and allows the visuals to speak for themselves. And I for one think the team did a good job when one examines the art and the storyboard. One of Miura's best skills was his art and storyboards, and the team did such a wonderful job in replicating his art and storyboard as best as they could. When you look at the Guts and Griffith confrontation, one thing Miura was the best at and loves to do is he loves conveying motion. And God, is it so good and satisfying watching someone as sexy as Guts move. There's so many panel layouts, like when Guts is using the Dragon Slayer. There's usually 2 or more panel layouts to emphasize the swing, leaving the viewers with a bigger impact every time the land attacks, such as gripping a sword, swinging it, and the landing. That's not even mentioning for non-action scenes, such as when Guts runs when he hears Griffith is here. We see this panel layout depicting Guts stop and sliding through the snow because of how fast he was going. That's just one of thousands of examples. And the team that's drawing Berserk understands this as well, as there's so many moments in these chapters depicting that motion that Miura loved to do. Here are some examples. Guts shaking with anger, then next page shaking even further and seeming ready to run, and the next page is exactly what happens. Guts running towards Griffith. I love it. Such a powerful way to emphasize Guts' anger. And then 2 panel layouts. First, Guts grabbing his Dragon Slayer, next a feet panel depicting him jumping, and then the finale, him in the air ready to swing his sword at Griffith. I can talk on and on about the team replicating this motion. If there's one thing to critique, it's this. I did spot something the team seemed to lack confidence in. and that's drawing double spreads. One thing Miura was the best at was double spreads. When you compare the double spreads, one thing I noticed with Koji's direction is all these chapters, there's always something else going on in the double spreads, with there being panels above or panel layouts in them, or other techniques. Take this page for example. Moments ago, I praised the conveyed motion, but I wish this was done in the previous page, and the final double spread of this chapter was just guts, emphasizing his rage even more. Not saying this is awful, by the way. Miura has done this with double spreads before, but what I'm critiquing is that in all these new chapters we've gotten, not one of them has that essence of Miura's iconic style of double spreads that he loved to draw. Just look at some of his last double spreads we got in chapter 362, then compare them to all the ones we gotten so far, and you can't help but see the difference in style. But besides that, I say the team did an amazing job, and they deserve more praise in replicating Miura's style as best as they could. The art speaks for itself, and I don't feel I have to go into further detail, which is why I only talked about the storyboarding. Next is the execution of the story. Well done. It genuinely felt like natural progression of the story. I seen some argue it's out of character for Guts to just give up when his entire character has never been giving up and to struggle no matter what the odds. But here's the thing, this is the first time Guts actually had the opportunity to fight Griffith, as other times there was something going on or he was too hurt. This time he was in perfect condition, no one standing between them, and to find out his entire journey of struggle and experience he's gotten proved to be useless against the one that caused him all this suffering to him and his loved ones, and then at Griffith taking Casca away in front of him, it's only natural he'd doubt everything and just give up and yield to the beast of darkness. That's not to say that one of the core themes of Berserk just disappear from the story, as when reading it, I still see that faint light, that struggle, not in Guts, but the rest of the cast. There's something really beautiful in seeing that. We know the impact Guts had on everyone, and all of them are here now because of Guts. The flame within Guts may have died out, but the flame he lit inside the others is still going on. Not everyone has given up. We see Sheer go even further to help Guts, Serpico still having faith, Isidro telling Guts not to give up. We see Casca doing everything she can to return to Guts. Without Guts being the driving force, we get to see the rest of the cast do the heavy lifting now, and I love it, and I'm hoping it continues for a while longer. But there is one missing piece that I do wish to see return, and maybe I'm in the minority in feeling this way, but Chestnut Puck needs to return. When the world of Berserk needed him most, he disappeared. Miura has mentioned in interviews how Puck is a break for him and the story. If he didn't have a character like Puck in the story, things might have reached the point where it's too oppressive to go on. And to me, Chestnut Puck is such an important piece to Berserk, and I hope to see him return, trying to make everyone smile again. Last is the pacing. Many say the story is moving way too fast. When we look at Miura's pacing, let's say going to Elfhelm is point A, point B is arriving at Elfhelm, and when you look at everything we saw to get to point B, there were many side plots. But with Koji's direction, we move to point A to point B rather quickly. Kushan appear in one chapter, 2 chapters we arrive at the Kushan's empire. I actually agree about the pacing somewhat. I do wish there was more screen time with the characters. We haven't seen much exploration of the emotional fallout from Elfhelm's destruction or Casca's kidnapping. We haven't gotten anything from Farnese, who shares a special bond with her, but this may be too early to judge, as we could still get more in the future chapters. It's only been 14 chapters after all, and these chapters are shorter. In one of the recent chapters, we did get some Ricker monologue about how it's so soon, too early to fight Griffith, so this might be improved on as the chapters go on. Despite these critiques, I feel that Mori and the team have done an exceptional job. Their love and respect for Miura shine through in every chapter. While it's impossible to replicate Miura's genius completely, this continuation feels like a glimpse into the story Miura was excited to share with us, and I'm happy that I can feel myself thinking. I can see Miura's vision. This feels like the natural progression of the story that he was going to eventually show us, and I'm happy that we get to see a part of what Miura was so excited to draw and share, and I wish the team continue giving their best and take care of themselves. Excited to see what the future chapters hold.